Welcome back to Podcast by Design with Ibiza Bernadas. Last week I discussed about how to become a VA, and I talked about specifically about mindset over skills. I discussed that freelancing is 80% mindset and 20% skills. So, speaking of skills, I will be talking about picking your niche or your skill. So there are three things that you can approach this depending on your experience or the season of your life where you're at right now. If you're super like no experience at all, zero experience at all, you can do the first option approach that I will be providing. So first is your transferable skills. Transferable skills are your versatile abilities that you can bring from your past jobs, from your hobbies, from your life experiences into your freelance or your VA work. So these are your personal toolbox that no matter what the task or no matter what the project is, you can use these tools to solve problems as well as adapting to new clients or changes and of course getting your work done well. Okay, so these are non-exhaustive transferable skills. I just listed a couple. So, first is time management skills, the ability to plan your day to meet strict deadlines. So, for example, if you know how to juggle multiple tasks with minimal supervision, that's a skill. So, number two is clear communication. So, when somebody knows how to share ideas smoothly as well as listening closely to the needs of others, that's actually skill. An example of this would be writing professional emails or explaining a hard concept in a simplified manner. Okay, so next would be problem solving. So this is a very essential part of being a VA, finding smart ways around sudden challenges or roadblocks. So, when you have an issue or, when there is a broken file, a broken link, handling difficult clients without stressing too much, you know, troubleshooting stuff, this is a very essential skill that a VA should have, problem solving. And also adaptability, getting comfortable with quick changes because in this kind of business, it's not a very constant one. So, for example, if there is a tool that you're using right now and then all of a sudden the company decided to change the tools that you're going to use. So that's something that you should be able to adapt easily. And then organization, keeping your work, your documents, the schedule to be always in order. And also analytical skills because sometimes clients would just give very vague instructions. So you have to have analytical skills for you to be able to figure out things with a minimal supervision. So those are the transferable skills that you can adapt or you can transfer to your VA jobs. So I just wanted to share my experience. So the very first VA job that I had was an e-commerce VA where I, process orders whenever I receive that and then make sure that it's being delivered on time to my clients. Because during that time, we have a same day delivery. So that's the first client that I had. I'm so blessed to be referred by my aunt Tay. Shout out. So yeah, she referred me to them and then at some point they asked me to do social media and then I am very curious. I love learning. So what I did was, it was a rabbit hole of learning social media, FB ads, SEO, funnel building. I even enrolled to online courses just to make sure that I am equipped. Just in, you know, because in this business, you have to upskill every now and then. So a couple of, did take a couple of um, courses, you know, FB ads, SEO, funnel building, just trying things out, and just wanted to know what really is for me. And then I was able to use that to my different clients. And then at some point, I was I was hired as a marketing coordinator for a coach, a real estate coach. And then I saw how their operation, like the back end of the business, like it's an online business, but it's a big one. Like we're like a team of 10. And for me, that's big already during that time because there's a lot of departments and like a real company. And then, you know, I was so blessed to be working with closely with the CEO. So I was able to, you know, picked up her brain, and then, you know, understand how the marketing ecosystem, how it works. And then I actually had an experience with a couple of podcast coaches, again referred by them to them. And then I was referred to different coaches, and then I just noticed a pattern, whereas these coaches, they are transitioning from YouTube to podcasting. So at this time, I was selling podcast management as a service. Why am I saying this journey? Because, you know, I became, so I can do anything with the client. So up until now, podcast client, I have Shopify store client, and also I have a TikTok shop client. So these are the things that, you know, the things that I gain from one job to another. For me, it's still a transferable job to, or transferable skill. So right now, I can essentially do anything what a client would ask me in terms of marketing, just because I studied different, you know, parts of marketing. So in all fronts. So yeah, just saying that as much as you can study, because you would never know what's really best for you if you don't try. So try to study it online. Even if it's free YouTube video, go for it, because then you would have, you know, a glimpse of what exactly that task or that skill would entail. So much rambling. Okay, so aside from transferable skills, that's a mouthful, you know, you should also consider the trending skills or trending niches. So again, in this industry, you have to constantly upskill. A trending skill is a popular service that many clients need at this point. So these are the top trending skills in 2026. First is AI and automation. For example, you know, AI used for video editing or data tagging or building chatbots and other automations. So you can consider doing this. Also, of course, digital media, editing short form videos for different social media platforms. Next will be web development. So any company, any brand will be needing their own website. So this is something that you can consider. And also e-commerce, managing online stores or creating Shopify websites. Actually, you can also consider TikTok shops, because I have a client who's having me do a TikTok shop. Okay, so these are the skills. Now let's go to niche. So what is a niche? Niche is a specific group of clients or businesses that you serve, or a distinct problem that you solve. So the skill is, for example, copywriting, And then you can niche down to a specific group of people, which are, for example, coaches. So, copywriter for coaches. Or even you can do more focused on fitness coaches. So, those stuff. Okay, so why do you need to niche down? So, generalists compete with everyone, but specialists become the expert. So, when you pick a trending niche, you can charge more. Your clients pay higher rates for experts, and of course, you stand out. And it is easier to get hired when your skills match exact client problems. So a couple of years ago, I just like what I've mentioned earlier, I noticed that coaches are focusing more on being a podcaster rather than being a YouTuber. Though some of them they do video podcast, but yeah, I just noticed that podcast is the name of the game. So for a while, I did a couple of podcasts for coaches. I think 2-3 years. Actually, up until now, I still have a podcast client. And 3 years ago, there were not much of podcast VA that I know of. So I feel like during that time, it was really a profitable skill. So then I was able to charge higher than the usual because it's a specialized skill. So I still have that client up until now. But at the same time, I am open because every now and then people from the past jobs that I used to work at, they would refer people to me to work on their stuff. So, for example, one client, I am working on his TikTok shop. So blessed to be having referrals. So essentially what I'm saying is I do both. I have a very specialized niche, which is podcast management. But if you need me on social media, if somebody would ask me about doing their Shopify store, I can do that. So yeah, whatever works for you, feel free to do that. Next would be Ikigai. So I think I mentioned this on the previous episode. Ikigai is a Japanese concept that means your reason for being or your daily purpose. So you find it at the sweet spot where the four things meet: what you love, what you're good at, what the world needs, and what you get paid for. So first, let's discuss what you love, your passion. So these are the work that you enjoy and would gladly do for free. So you can offer services that you actually care about. And if you hate, for example, me, I'm not the best writer. I can write, but I'm not the best at it. Don't be a freelance writer, or choose a niche that you can really enjoy. So I like editing. I like doing, anything editing. Next would be what you are good at, your vocation. So these are the skills or tasks that come naturally to you. Focus on your natural talent. So you can offer services if you're, for example, if back in high school or college, you are great in arts, right? And you can translate it into graphic designing, right? So you can use your strengths to stand out in the freelance market. Next would be what the world needs, your mission. This is how you can help your community to solve a problem. So this means that you see your clients' problems as your mission. For example, if you are a website designer, your mission is to help local small businesses get more customers. So it's gonna be a more fulfilling and more meaningful job for you if you are pursuing this, since this is your mission too. Next would be what you can get paid for, or your profession. So this is the work that can earn you a living. So this means that you set prices that value your time. And you can feel free to research what the current market rates are for your services. So this ensures that you can pay your bills and grow. Okay, so putting it together, so this is not just plainly a checklist, but this is a guide to make sure that you wake up happy and avoiding burnout. And when you choose a freelance service that hits these four circles, you feel a deep sense of joy in your work. And I know that this might not be true for everyone because I mean, not all opportunities are based on your ikigai, and that's the reality of it. But as you go along, as you work, try to, pray by God's grace to pursue a career that is based off of your ikigai. This can help you do your work and felt, you know, that it's purposeful and meaningful rather than dragging yourself to work just because you need to, right? Okay, so those are the things. First is your transferable skills. Next would be the trending skills or niches. And last would be your ikigai. Again, depending on the season where you're at, feel free to do whatever that suits you. And if you are still lost or you don't really know what to pursue, feel free to message me and I'll try my best to really help you. Okay, so that's it for now. I hope you have picked up something with all the ramblings that I did. So I hope to see you on the next one. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Bye.